Senate Joint Resolution 57 is very simple. It allows the legislature to apply to Congress under the Article 5 provisions of the United States Constitution to call a convention of states strictly limited to proposing amendments to the Constitution that impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, and limit the terms of office for officials and members of Congress. This resolution does not call for a specific amendment to be proposed and instead would allow the states to find solutions to the problems facing our nation. There are a number of reasons why I'm supporting this joint resolution, and all are tied to my frustration with the federal government. For years, I've heard constituents ask me why Congress can't pass a balanced budget, why members of Congress stick around so long yet accomplish so little, and why the federal government continually sticks its nose in our daily lives. By the way, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a point here. Representative Knodel and I were doing this long before a congressman in northern Wisconsin announced his resignation. We were working on this long before then. Currently, the federal debt is more than $22.5 trillion, and the federal deficit recently hit $1 trillion. In Wisconsin, when we sit down to craft the state budget every 2 years, one of the requirements we have from the people of Wisconsin is that our budget must be balanced. Why? Because it's in our state constitution. 49 states have similar requirements. The Founding Fathers created a process for states to push back when the powers of the federal government had grown too invasive. Our ability to rein in the federal government is well within our states' rights, and the time to act is now. The Convention of States resolution that is before you today would curb the federal government's ability to spend recklessly, impose term limits, and reassert our 10th Amendment states' rights. It's time to return more decision-making power to the states and to the people. People across our state and across the country agree. 15 states have already passed a similar resolution, and many others have proposed them in their state houses. In my state Senate district alone, there are over 1,000 people who have signed the petition asking us to pass this resolution. It's time to send a clear message to Washington that their spending is out of control and the encroachments on the liberty of the people is unacceptable. Senate Joint Resolution 57 does just that.
Thank you, Senator Craig, once a representative. And thank you, Senator Tiffany, for joining me in bringing SGR 57 forward. I won't repeat some of you have my written testimony there, so I'll skip some things. This is about the United States of America. And that's us, the state legislatures. We are the states. This is an opportunity that our framers of the Constitution placed in the Constitution under Article 5 to grant us the authority to call for a states convention. And I think it's high time for the states to recognize that and give that authority a bit of exercise. So we're asking you here today to exercise that authority and put in this application to Congress. The process lays out Article 5 sets a real high bar to even convene a convention. 34 states have to provide the application to convene, which then only gives us a seat at a table where we can propose amendments, basically draft amendments. And then there's an even higher bar for ratification of those proposed amendments, an approval of 38 state legislatures to ratify. And I put my faith and my trust in the states that created our federal government. And this is our opportunity again to exercise Article 5 and get us to the table so we can consider amendments to the United States Constitution. I'll close simply by asking you to be patriots, not partisans. Allow us a seat at the table. We're going to hear a bit today. I think there'll be some fear of runaway conventions, this, that, or the other things. I don't operate on fear. That fear really becomes my fuel and incentive to move this forward. I ask for your consideration in that matter. Thank you.
Thank you to both of you. I think it's certainly a bipartisan issue. It's an issue that we've addressed here recently, and it's something that I think is worthy of further discussion and consideration. And the bipartisan nature that I'm aware of, even President Obama's former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, when asked by Congress what the number one threat confronting America was, it was the national debt. And so I salute you for the work that you're doing on this